Hello, hello, and welcome to the Book Buzz Show. I am your host, Cheryl Brooks. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you are coming back and returning to us, welcome back. If you enjoy the show, please make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and share the broadcast so others can also enjoy it. And for those who are new to the Book Buzz Show, we do discuss the book that we're discussing. So there may be minor spoilers, but we don't give any major spoilers and nothing that will ruin the reader's experience. In addition to being a live broadcast, the Book Buzz Show is now also a podcast. So you can check us out at the Book Buzz Show with Cheryl, wherever you get your podcast, and make sure to follow us there as well so you can get the experience when you're on the go. Also, if you're looking to promote your brand, business, product, or service, we do have ad spots and sponsorship packages opportunities available. Visit our website at iaspirebooks2, the number 2.com for more information about that. The book that we are discussing today is Best for Last by Dylan Allen. It is part of the Symbol series, book 3. And that is the cover that's on the screen for those who want to know what the cover looks like. All right, and we are having as our guest today Dylan Allen, and I'll just give you a little brief bio about her. Dylan Allen is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author. She's a Texas girl with a serious case of wanderlust. Dylan's travels influence her writing, and she loves being able to take her readers on adventures from the comfort and safety of their favorite reading nook. And now I'd like to welcome my guest to the show. Welcome, Dylan. welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Cheryl. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited. Thanks, Lashira, for putting us together.
Yeah, I love Lashira. Let's
Me
see.
too. She's the greatest.
All right, put that on screen. Looks like we have
my glasses have a reflection. I'm gonna take them off. It's okay because I only need them when I'm gonna read.
When you're reading. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Lisa. How are you?
All right. Yeah, this is a special time, but I did let folks know. I put it on all the social media. So
me too. I just shared it in my story. I shared it in our group. I shared it like 5 minutes ago to say that I would be here. So hopefully people can.
All right. And then they can always watch the replay as well, yes. if they're at work or whatever. All right, so we'll get right into it because we have a lot to discuss. And
yes,
as I was telling you on screen,
I feel like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the book.
Thank you.
I'm an avid reader, so I'm always looking for things to get me excited.
Yeah, just like fall into. I
mean, I actually did that.
I want to fall into a book and forget everything.
We have AJ Alexander out here as well. Hello, welcome.
Hi, AJ.
And for those who are new to you, can you give us a little background on you, about yourself, and what genre that you write in?
Okay. Hi. Okay, so I'm Dylan Allen. I write contemporary romance, and and I know that sounds very broad, but I do. But contemporary romance that's very emotional, that's has very lush settings, that is very diverse, that is addictive, that is bingeable, that is steamy and deeply romantic. And I think I've published 14 books so far. I've been writing since 2017, and I write. I love second chances. I love first loves, and most of my books have that theme in them. And I love traveling, so my characters go on trips a lot or live other places. And so yeah, that's me. I'll tell you more as we go along.
All
But
right. Are
hello,
you?
I live in Baltimore,
Oh, you
and
do okay.
I have two children, and that are 14 and 11, and my wonderful husband of 17 years. My God. Wow. Is that
Congratulations
true?
on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
He's
you
wonderful.
traditionally
I'm
published
brilliant.
or are you independent?
I'm sorry.
Are you traditionally published or you're
I'm
independent?
both. I'm hybrid. I started though as an indie. I published my first uh, 10 books, 12 books independently, and I've written three for a publisher that I write for. And I'm, I love I love being both. So yes, I'm both. But I love indie publishing, and I always will.
So you have basically get the best of both worlds with
Well,
that.
I'm, well, I'm trying. I'm trying to have as much of every world as I can. Yeah, it's wonderful to diversify and try different things, and just see, why not? Why not?
Right.
Yeah.
What has your writing journey been like? Like how did you get started in writing, and from then to now, how has the journey been?
I'm a lawyer. I was a lawyer for. I'm not a lawyer anymore because I don't even have my license to practice law anymore. But I was for 15 years. I was a lawyer,
Okay.
and I never loved it. My mother was a lawyer too, so I went to law school because that's and so I loved law school. I didn't really love practice law, but it was my job, and I'm an avid reader. I'm an avid romance reader, and I when I I after I had my children, I started reading again because I just my career took a downshift. I wasn't working at I kind what happens when you have kids if you're a career woman. So,
Right.
off. So anyway, so I had more time to read. I had a long commute, and I was reading romance rapidly, and I was approaching my 40th birthday, and I was like, always wanted to write a book, and I want to write a book for myself, and I want to try and finish something and see if I can do it. And I had made some friends with indie authors at the time, and so they encouraged me, and I wrote it, and I published my first book on my 40th birthday
Okay.
in 2017, and I didn't know what to expect, but people really loved it. Not just a little bit, like a lot, and they wanted, and I was so surprised, but and they wanted more, and I started writing more, and I was working full time. At the
Okay.
time, I was the executive director of a private foundation that was building hospitals in West Africa, and I hated that job so much, and my boss found out I was writing romance when I'd written my third book, fourth book, and I got fired.
Oh, really?
He said it was and I was not writing under my real name. But I had a book that did well, like, and it was in the Huffington Post, and I was invited to speak places about it. And so that's how he found out. And then he said he thought it went against the image of the foundation. It was his right, fine, but so I was kind of shoved headfirst into this career, and I was like, well, okay, well, let me see. And it has been really hard. It's been really hard. There have been days where I'm like, why did I quit? I should have found another job. It was really hard because the market changes really quickly.
Hmm.
And I don't, in terms of like my writing, I don't write fast. I
Okay.
don't, I write long books. I like books that are, they're not, they're this enemies to lovers and second chance or whatever, but the tropes are not the point. I write very character driven journeys, and, it's just sort of not that marketable, they're just not to market. So it's been hard, but I've been very, very lucky because I have a really loyal readership who, when they find me, they stay, and they tell their friends, and they stay, and it's so it's been wonderful too. I've had more success than I ever imagined I ever would, and so in that I'm very proud of myself for the first time in my life, and my kids are proud of me. They see me chasing my goals and getting back up when I'm
Mhm.
knocked down. So it's been wonderful, and I write stories that make me happy and make other people happy, and so it's a dream. It's wonderful, but
That's
it's also very hard.
amazing.
It's very hard.
That's amazing. So basically, your employer firing you was a good thing because it
Yeah,
pushed you into.
yeah. I mean, I don't know that I would have ever had the guts to quit, because guaranteed income. I have kids, we have a mortgage,
Right.
but my husband, but also we had since we'd been living on, we both kind of earned the same amount of money, so we decided to, it was, both of those salaries were enough to support a family, so we really were living on one income and saving a lot. So it was like, we were in a good, it was just a good, it was we were in a good position to do it. And my family was very supportive, and
That's important.
yeah, they're so, I mean, yeah, it's very, very wonderful. It's a real gift, because this takes up all your time.
Yeah.
It's like all I do is write and work
Right.
and travel and
But that's another thing that I like to ask authors about, because writing can be it's isolating,
Mhm,
where you're just in your
mhm.
office writing. So what do you do to make sure that you stay connected to like family, friends, and
Well, I am very intentional about that because I discovered, when we had the pandemic in 2020, and we didn't stop having signings. We used to do retreats and signings and conferences, and I would see all my author friends all the time. And then all that stopped because we were in lockdown, and the community completely fell apart. It was like being behind a screen made us forget the human being, because we're all very different. We
right?
live in different parts of the country, and the country was going through some stuff, and we
Yes.
were, so there were all of these, and it was like, we just, the community, the romance, especially indie romance community, was just fighting. Everybody was fighting, or there was so much drama, and it was terrible to see. And I didn't know what would happen when we came back together. We came back together and started going to conferences again, and it was like everything was okay. And I was like, I think, it is very important that we stay in touch with each other. So I've been very intentional about it. I have the first Sunday of every month, I host uh, five one four other authors at my house, the same group
Okay.
of women. We have our first Sunday of every month. We have a writer circle. We call it our writer circle. We really don't write. We just talk and catch up and share ideas, and sometimes drink wine. We often order food. My husband and kids leave the house for the day, so we just,
Okay.
and we do that first Sunday of every month. I'm a member of the local Maryland Romance Writers Association, and so sometimes they have meetings or workshops. I attend those. I go to conferences. I was in Philadelphia for a book signing, because I'm an introvert, honestly, but I recognized how important in this job it is to connect with other people who understand you, and can help you, because you need help
Right.
too. It's so hard to do by yourself. So yeah, no, I'm very intentional about that.
That's good, and I love that idea of getting together
It's
every.
wonderful. We've been doing it for a year now. And when we first started, I wasn't sure, you start something, you're like, let's see. And, it's been great.
Right.
We all look forward to it. It's so much fun. We have these little plastic men things we hang them on our drinks. It's like how we tell who's, and we all have one. They all have names on their backsides.
Okay.
So it's fun.
I love that. Looks like we have a few more people in the audience. Hi, Sherelle. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, hello.
And Facebook user, if you want to show your name, you can go to the description and just click the link.
Okay.
And then we have another Facebook user. Hello, hello,
Yeah,
welcome.
give StreamYard permission.
Yes.
So we know who you are. Hi,
Antoinette, thank you for joining us. Hello. All right. Now, when you're deep in your writing mode, what does a typical day look like for you?
I get up as soon as my kids are off to school. If I'm writing really seriously, I get up about an hour before my kids get up for school. So, about 5. And I will try and do and if I have emails to send or things to set up, marketing things, and I also do my like journaling. I do my sort of intentions for the day.
Okay.
And I just write things down, and I spend that time by myself. And then I get my kids up, once they're at school, like sit down at my desk, and I start working. I have a to-do list. I work from pretty solidly from 8 to 2. I'll write from 8 to 2, and then go get my son. If I'm on deadline and my husband is working from home, which he does sometimes, and then I'll just sit down and not get up until somebody needs me, and that can be. I often, towards the end, when I'm approaching the end of the book and I'm on my deadline is approaching and I need to finish, I'll get a hotel room for a few nights and just because I need to be alone and I will write for like 18 hours a day.
My goodness.
And you know, and everybody who writes knows this, and it's very intense. And you don't shower, and you smell, and you know your house looks. You look up, and your house looks like a bomb went off.
Right, right.
Up because you don't, and you know your kids' teachers are like, think you don't live, that you disappeared. I mean, it's very, you know, it's very consuming. But just on a regular day, yeah, I work from 8 to 2. I go get my kids from school. I come back from like 4 to 7, and then I make dinner because I like to cook for my family, and I like to watch TV and I like to read. So I get up. I make myself get up at 7 and turn on my computer. Sometimes I'll come back.
Like you have a balance where you still incorporate family time and all of that.
Oh, it's so important. My children are the reason I do this. They're the most important thing in my life. My husband is as well. I mean, that's what sustains me is them. And I owe it to my children to be a present, parent. And I love spending time with them. So I make it. But they're older now, so they don't want to be with me all the time anyway. So
right.
I take time and they give me the space to work. And because I travel, I've been traveling a lot. I just got back from Philadelphia last night, and I'm going to Las Vegas on Thursday.
Oh my goodness!
And I've been traveling like that for a few months now. But they came to Philly for the day to see me because I had 2 events. They came to one of them, so
Okay, so you work it out. That's good.
Yeah.
We have Melissa in the audience. She said,
"Hi, Melissa. That's my friend. Hi, Melissa. How are you?"
We have another Facebook user. You can go to the description and just click on the link to give StreamYard permission to show your face.
Yes. Hello.
And we have Jennifer in the audience. Hello, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us.
How are you?
And I have to tell you again, the book that we are discussing today is Best for Last. Let me pull up Oh, you have it. Good.
This is the ebook cover. The paperback but I have a paperback of it. Yes.
Yes, that is the cover, the ebook cover, and
Scary.
Yes, Best for Last.
It's an interracial romance, so
it's
yes, y'all know.
Yeah, and I also love interracial as well.
Oh, do you? Yeah. I like it all. I
love all of it.
I wrote it because when you ask me, I'll tell you why he is very, very the reason.
Yes. Now, do you have any writing quirks that you like, any kind of routine that you do, mood music or things like that when you're writing?
I just have to have water and gum. And when I know I'm writing a scene that's emotional and hard, I need gummy bears or something. I need a big bag of them. I am an emotional eater. And when I'm writing, I gain weight because I
gets you through.
But it's like that, whatever it takes. I can't get up. I have to keep going. And because I'm a pain avoider. So when my characters are going through painful things, I want to get away.
Melissa is saying she doesn't see.
Oh, but you have permission. You
already have because we see your name. The link is only in the group, the private group that I'm streaming to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because when you're on the public pages, they don't require it for something.
Oh, you know what? I can stream this in my reader group too.
Yes, please.
I've done this. Why is it? Oh, sorry. Wait. Am I still there? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you are.
I thought it took me out. It's okay. I won't do that now. Anyway.
Yeah, you should be able to share it as well into your group.
Yeah, I want me to log in, but I don't know my password.
Okay. Now, how did you come up with the idea for the Best for Last? How did the idea come about?
Well, so this is a 3-book series. This was the 3rd book, and I'd saved the middle sister, Lily, for last because she was the most complicated. And I wasn't sure. I wanted to see how the other sisters would come out and how she was with them before I wrote her. Because I also wasn't really clear on what her story was, other than she was not, she was a bit distant. So and then when I figured it out and I knew her story and I was thinking about, so what kind of man would make this woman like want to trust somebody and fall in love again? And I wasn't sure. And then, so this is in 2017. And the first book, Meghan Markle had been my muse for The Sister. She was on Suits. She wasn't like
Right.
she is now. I watched Suits and I was like, oh, this isn't. She's biracial like my character. So I was like, oh, she looks kind of like. So she was her and Boris Kodjoe were my muse for the first couple.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and so I knew who she was, and then one day in the end of the year 2017, Prince Harry issues a statement that says, "This is my woman, and y'all better keep her name out of y'all's mouths, and I will go to war for her."
Right,
And I was like, "Oh, okay. So her man is Harry. He's somebody who has a lot of power. He's somebody, And I told you my family's from Ghana, right? And both my grandmothers both had husbands who were not Ghanaian. My father's mother had a Lebanese husband. My mother's mother had an English husband, because at the time in the early 20th century, a lot of those people were coming to Ghana to, for the gold. So the Lebanese were coming. They're goldsmiths. They make jewelry. The English were coming with the empire, because Ghana was a colony.
Right.
And so there were a lot of people like, there were a lot of that happened a lot. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to have him. And it still happens. People come to Ghana for business all the time. So I made him an English businessman coming to Ghana where she was going, and I already knew she was going to go there. So I was like, how am I going to get him there? Okay, so he's a businessman, but he also has to have power. I want him to be kind of a, not a prince.
Right, right.
Like a duke. So I love historical romance. I love dukes. So
Me too.
So yeah, that's how. And then I just let them. And then before I start writing, I do a very, very detailed character sketch. I mean, some of them are like 20 pages long, and I know everything about them by the time I'm ready to write. So when I start writing, I have a bit of an outline. I know generally what their ups and low points are, but I let the scenes come to me. I let them tell me. And so when I sat down to write, they really showed me their dynamic. I didn't know they were gonna not get along right away.
Yeah, because I did remember I mentioned to you that Enemies to Lovers is not my favorite, but
yeah, no, I didn't. And
I loved it. I got through the irritate, because it irritates me when they do it back and forth. But I know people love it.
And I didn't know how I was, because she really didn't like him, and he liked her.
Right.
Well, she didn't want to like him. She liked him.
Right. She liked him, but she didn't want to admit that she did. Right.
So it was fun. And it was fun. And he's like my husband. He's very direct, and he has a line. You can't disrespect him. He doesn't, he's
right.
He knows himself, and he is very. So I love
very much a man's man. I loved Harry's character.
Thank you.
I see. Okay, then she said this is Joan Vassar. Hey, Joan. Welcome.
Hi, Joan. My Joan. Listen, Joan Vassar is my.
Yeah, I love Joan.
I love her. Joan, I was talking about her yesterday. She gave me like the best advice anyone has ever given me in my whole life, about a year ago, and it still is. Joan, hi, I love you. I miss you.
Yeah, she's another one of my favorites. I love.
If y'all have not read Black, read.
I'm always talking about Black series.
If you haven't read it, your life is not complete.
Yeah, I was one of the ones that was trying to get her to hold out from and continue to write that series.
I know. I mean, I could live with the sport forever and never.
Yeah, but I'm there for whatever she brings.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Black, what a man. Oh.
Now, you kind of answered this already when you were talking about. I was asking what made you want to tell this particular story, so you kind of answered that. But what was it that made you want to make Harry a duke? Is it because that you already had Harry in mind for?
Yeah. I wanted him to be someone who had power, and who also, because I think, and also because it's such a, I like the opposite, that it's such a different world from hers. So I wanted that to have there to be some tension about that too. I just felt like exploring it, and at the time I didn't know that Meghan was going to go through hell. None of us knew. Right. We were so happy for her. And they were going to turn into devils, and
right.
But so that's why that was why. And I have, it's a thing that, interracial marriage is very common. At least in not everywhere in Ghana, but I come from Cape Coast, which is where they were, which is where all of the castles that they used to hold the doors of no return. That is in the
Oh,
town.
that's where. Okay. Okay.
That's my ancestral village. That's where my father's people are from.
Okay.
So, and my mother's from the next town. So that's where we're from. So we were right there at the port. When they get off, that's the town that. So, my grandmother used to play the organ in her church, and this white man walked in and saw her and was like, "Oh, I like her," and married her. What I mean? So,
Yeah, and
so it happened, and so I just decided. It was. I think it wasn't my first interracial romance, but they are all who they are for a reason. So.
yeah, I love the dynamic, and I
Yeah.
was going to ask you too. So, are you normally a royal enthusiast, or you follow like the British?
I wasn't until they started treating Meghan bad. Then I became very interested in them and all their dirt.
Right,
And now I am, but not. I didn't really. But I lived. I am an Anglophile. I lived in London for a long time. I told you my family's from Ghana,
Right.
so we're all like, my parents were about 10 years old when Ghana became independent from. But everybody is very British in Ghana, and so and I lived there before I lived in America. When we left Ghana, I lived in the UK. I have none of my family. I don't have any family in America. Most of my family lives in Ghana or in the UK or in Germany or elsewhere, right? So it's just us here. And so I spent a lot of time there, and I lived there for 4 years in my 20s. I did my junior year abroad. So I write. That's why I write. A lot of my books are set in the UK. And
I love that because I love experiencing other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave that with the book, because I felt like I was experiencing with the characters Ghana and the countryside of England.
Yeah, I went to a place like that once, and I was like, God, it was so beautiful, and it was in the winter. It was really beautiful. So I wanted to, I wanted to be back there when I wrote it.
Yeah, I love that. And we have someone saying that they just downloaded the book. And,
no, I don't think you need to. You can if you want to. And I think I don't know. I wrote them in order, but I feel like they can be read as standalones. So.
Yeah, and I started with this book.
A lot of people started with this book because I don't know, but I know that. I know that. Exotic.
Antoinette says it sounds exotic. It was, Antoinette. It really was. You got a sense of just she described the foods, the different foods in Ghana. And
yes, those are my favorite foods.
Yeah.
My favorite foods, all of them, just the ones I love.
Yes, and AJ Alexander is saying that all three of them are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Read all three. I plan on going back and reading the first two. So yeah, I will do that.
Thank you, AJ.
And now with well, first, before we get into the actual book, this is a good time for you to read the excerpt if you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you for not picking anything too risky.
Right.
Okay, so I have to put my readers on because I can't see. But all right, here we go. I have it. This is an excerpt that Cheryl picked for me to read to y'all from Best for Last. So I'm going to start. Oh, am I by myself? Okay. Why is my face looks really smooth? Is that
Would you rather be like that?
No, I don't want to be like that.
Okay.
Natural. I look good enough.
Yeah, you look good. You look good.
I just saw. I didn't see.
Yeah, I just put you front and center so you can do the excerpt.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, y'all. I don't look like a ghost. Okay, here we go. We walked past. Okay, let me take a sip of water. Sorry. We walked past a set of rocks that create a haphazard but solid wall separating us from the rest of the beach. I drop my bag, pull out my towel, and drop down on it. Harry looks down at me skeptically for a minute. What, do you not sit down on public beaches? You're proving to be quite the snob, Harry. I pat the space on the towel next to me. Come on, live a little. With a resigned sigh, he sits next to me, close enough that our shoulders are touching. It's nearly dark now, but the sun's bright rays have become explosive oranges and reds. I unwrap the hot plantain and extend my hand in offering. How about you taste some right now? How about you waste some time right now and try this? And that's because earlier he said he feels like when he sits down to eat, he's wasting time. So that's what that means. So how about you waste some time and right now and try this? He rolls his eyes and I pull my hand back and narrow my eyes at him. I don't know if I should share this with you. Kelewele is too special and rare to give to someone who doesn't appreciate the greatness of food. Yes, you're definitely committed to hyperbole. Just give me one. He snatches a piece of the hot, spicy delicacy and pops it into his mouth, starts to chew, his expression knowing and sarcastic. And then suddenly his eyes widen. He stops chewing, but only for a flicker of a second. Good Lord, he reaches for another piece, grabs three of them, and shoves them in his mouth. This is amazing. I laugh and pop a piece into my mouth and groan when the combination of heat, spice, salt, and sweet explode on my tongue. Can we get more? He grabs another handful and shovels them in again. I slap his hand away. Hey, you're eating all of them. We'll have to wait until tomorrow for more, unless you want to walk into the village where they're set up for the night. I say through a mouthful of food. I am no, I'm actually really full. I finished eating right before we came out here, but I definitely want to come back for some more tomorrow. He licks his fingers and rubs his flat stomach, a look of complete satisfaction on his face. I hand him a napkin and he wipes his hands before staring at the sky with a wide smile on his face. So, mind blown, I ask and pop the last piece of it into my mouth. Let's not go crazy. It was great. Best thing I've eaten since I've been here, but it takes a lot more than good food to blow my mind. God, you're hard to please. Not really, he says, still gazing upwards. Well, at least you're not calling it a waste of time. I stand up and ball the now empty piece of paper into my hand and look around for the trash can. How could it be? I was with you. His voice is soft and seductive and tender in a way that reaches inside of me and caresses the long neglected, unloved part of my soul with a feather light touch. Boy, that's a left turn. Okay, anyway, I look down at him. His eyes have moved from the sky and now he gazes at the ocean. The sound it makes is almost sinister. It teems and hisses, lashes the beach with salty kisses, and then releases with a roar. It sends me hurtling back in time, and I swear I hear it issue a command that the wind carries to me. Wake up, Lily. I used to love to dance, I say out loud, facing the ocean, but talking to the man who was causing a riot of flutters in my chest. Used to? He asks, his curiosity quiet, but I know he wants an answer. I still do. I'm telling him and myself. I smile and crane my neck towards the sound of music blaring from the resort. My body, finally freed from my mind's captivity, sways to the hypnotic and vibrant drum beats that are led by jazzy horns and extravagant guitars. God, I love this music. I throw my head back, letting it lull as my body remembers the nights I danced purely for the love of moving, and for the first time in years, I get lost in a song. When the music fades and the song ends, I open my eyes and spin around, laughing. Harry is resting on his elbows, backwards on his elbows, watching me. The light of the sun's final salute reveals a broad, satisfied smile across his beautiful face. My laughter dies in my suddenly very dry throat. I look down at my feet, embarrassed. You made me forget myself. It looked to me like you were starting to remember, he drawls softly. And how right he is. I am starting to remember the good in my life, the things I denied myself in order to get over all of the ugly, the laughter, the dancing, the delight in my food, swimming, all of it was who I am. I throw my head back and gaze at the heavens. Thank you for this. Giddiness sends a spontaneous giggle bubbling out of me that is so unexpected that I clamp my hand over my mouth and stare at Harry wide-eyed with disbelief that I'm still capable of making that sound. He rises, slowly unfolding his long, sexy body and walks toward me, the wind ruffling the loose curls that are falling into his forehead. He never takes his intense gaze off of mine. Let's get rid of this. His voice is husky and mesmerizing. His eyes are still on mine when he grabs the crumpled wad of paper in my hand. Before I register what he's asking for, he tosses it over his shoulder towards our blanket, flashes me a sly grin, and then he circles my wrist with his big, strong, rough hand and pulls me flush against his chest. I stumble as we collide, and his other hand grasps my waist to steady me. I can't say that word, grasps my waist to steady me. I try to take a deep breath, but the air doesn't reach my lungs or my brain. I can't think, but oh, I can feel. My entire body is alive with feeling. I'm tingling in places he's touching and throbbing in the places I'm praying he will touch. You're so beautiful when you're happy, he whispers. His hand at my waist strokes me absently. His other cups my cheek. He gazes down at me. His eyes are full of every single fairy tale I've ever read. I want to drown in them. How can I keep that look on your face? It's effing beautiful. And I want to say that. I want to block us. He asks as he searches my face as if he'll find the answer there. Bring me to the beach every day. I'm feeling reckless and whimsical, and I can't get enough of it. He laughs, and I smell the ginger on his breath. My toes curl. Only if you let me kiss you first, he says, when his thumb tugs my lower lip, moistening a little bit before he traces the outline of my top lip. I can still feel the I can still feel the heat of our kiss in the elevator. That kiss, for a few beautiful moments, held my entire universe still. It swept me away on a tide I prayed we never break. And for once, my prayers are being answered, and we're picking up right where we left off. And like a junkie chasing the ecstasy I discovered from that first high, I need him to kiss me again more than I need my next breath. He brushes his forehead. He brushes his forehead against mine. His hair brushes his forehead as he dips it towards mine. Can I kiss you? He asks just before our lips touch, and my heart constricts at how fucking perfect everything is. You don't have to ask. I murmur, my lips already tingling in anticipation. Oh, but I love hearing you say yes. And I'm going more. Sorry. I stopped early. Is that okay? Should I stop there? Should I keep going?
No, that's good.
Okay. And she says, and the walls came tumbling down, and that's it.
Yeah.
That was long.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes in the book.
The beach.
Did a wonderful job of describing. It's like I could visualize them on the beach with the moon and all of that, and just Lily rediscovering herself, basically.
Yeah, no, and the scene before that, where she's in the pool, is actually my favorite scene, I think, in that book.
Oh yeah, I love that too.
Because it's so it was very cathartic as I wrote it somehow, and I could feel her really. It was wonderful. I love that scene. Yeah.
There were a lot of little moments like that throughout. Yeah.
Because by then they're being nice to each other too. So.
Right. At least said she loves it.
Thank you.
And Antoinette is saying, "What an excerpt to hear." Yeah, Antoinette, that's one of my favorites in the book. The way she describes it is just so descriptive, and like I said, I could visualize them on the beach.
Yeah, no, the beach. That's that beach is really there, and it's we go there when we're home, and so it's very nice.
Yeah, good job. Now, did you have to do any type of? Now, I know you're from Ghana. But did you have to do any type of research as far as?
Yeah, I mean, I always do. I talked to so it's on and there's a content warning on the front of the book. There's a sexual assault on the page of the book. So, I am a sexual assault survivor, but I talked to other sexual assault survivors, just trying to, make sure I was getting a really clear, broad picture of what that experience is like. So that's part of my research always. And then I had to really figure out the aristocratic system in the UK,
right,
and also like where I was going to put his house, because I made it up, but I wanted to have it, and also because I'd written his brother is a secondary character in the book in the series called Then Came You, and I'd already said some things so I had to then go and really learn the region and figure out where. So yeah, no, I did some research, but most of it was just my own. Yeah, for Ghana, just my own experience, and then But I do always research things, and that's my favorite part of writing too.
Right, and it makes it more authentic, I think, when you do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think I love that as a reader.
Yes, me too.
Especially when someone's writing a place I know, when they get it right.
Oh yeah, right.
And when they get it wrong, I'm like,
right.
Did you not check?
Right.
So I try to really make, especially if I'm writing a real place, I make it as authentic as I can. And if I can't, then I won't write it. I've done that before too.
Right. Now, for those who haven't read the book or the series yet, can you give us a brief synopsis of what the series is about?
Okay, so the series is written around three sisters. They are their last name is Hassan. Their mother is from Ghana. Their father is from Syria. They live in Houston, and their father was worked at Enron, which was Houston's largest employer in the early 2000s. And I grew up that my dad did as well. And so the day that Enron collapsed, which it was like the largest bankruptcy in the United States history. And he went to work one day, and then that day walked away with nothing. He was there for like 14 years. His IRAs, for everything was gone. And so, and there was a lot of scandal around it. People disappeared. Some people died. A lot of people went to jail. Right. And so I wanted to explore, I wanted to write a story about because it changed our lives as a family. Right. So I wanted to write a story about three sisters whose lives were changed, but I made their dad someone who was complicit or was suspected to be complicit because he disappeared with a whole bunch of money and was never heard from again. Right. And she and her mom and her sisters had to like go and live in witness protection for a while. And so I wanted to write three romances about how that affected how they decided to live their lives and be the kinds of relationships they were in. I love exploring family dynamics. And so because mine is very interesting or complicated, and I'm always interested in sort of digging through. So they both had, and he was, so the first book I wrote for the series was Then Came You, and it was set in London. And also I am one of three sisters. I am the middle sister, and the girls all have, everybody's name begins with the same first initial as the corresponding sister in my life. And the first book is the younger sister's book, and she is a young lawyer who was, her first job out of law school is at an American law firm in London. That was my job too, and that was me. And she meets this guy, and he is wonderful. And it was like I met a guy. He turned out not to be wonderful, so I wanted to write it as it should have gone. Okay. That was the book I wrote for my 40th birthday.
Okay.
And the rest of it was like, just these three sisters and telling their stories as well. And that was all it was supposed to be. And that's the premise. So they each have some sort of trauma from their father's disappearance that has changed the way they view love. And, the second book I wrote, Still the One, it's a second chance romance. It's her and her boyfriend in high school. His dad worked at Enron too, and they were best friends, and his dad died, and there was a suspicion that her dad had killed him. So there's that tension, and so they broke up. So that was a second chance, and then that book you really get the dad's story there. So
I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go back and read, because you got little glimpses throughout the
sisters. Did you like her sisters?
Yes, I did, and I love, like you said, the family dynamic, because where Lily discovers that she has a lot more built up anger towards her family than she wanted, that she realized. And so even though she loved them, she still had this anger.
I thought that felt very like that would be the case,
Yeah, I love that part of it too
when it happened.
It was so many layers and just so nuanced.
It really is quite an intense.
It is, but like I said off screen, that I think you did a good job balancing it, because one of my favorite characters in the book is Portia, and Portia is Lily's cousin in Ghana.
Oh, right, because they have that. That was the comic relief.
So and Portia was, or Bambi was
she was hilarious. I know a girl named Bambi from Ghana.
She was hilarious, and she brought out the lighter side of Lily, which I loved.
Yes.
Because even though Lily had the weight of the world on her, when she was around her cousin,
because she's irreverent. She's she's very unapologetically who she is. And,
right.
I
love that.
She's trying to live her best life. That's what she's trying to have. She's trying to live her best life. So I love her too. Yeah, thank you.
Now, are we going to get like a little wedding update, or
a wedding update on Harry and Lily?
Yeah. Like,
you mean, I want if I was to write any other couple another book, it would be them, because I feel like we got to their HEA and we didn't really get to see them happy together, because in Ghana it wasn't real, and in the UK it was you know. So
Right.
I really want. I would. So you might. I mean, I'm. If I, it's definitely on one. It's something I want to do. It's just a matter of time. Like when
Yeah,
I
because
do
I would
it. But I
love
would. No,
that.
I've been wanting to forever, and I've. Yeah, no, because I want to, because I want to show what life is like for her as
Right.
well. Now, because his
Walking
dad
into
died.
that
He becomes
world,
Duke. She
that
becomes Duchess,
aristocratic world.
right? I want to show and in my book, The Legacy, I anticipated that she was having some trouble because her parents are appear in that book, and her mom mentions them, and mentions the
Okay.
daughters, and says something like, my mother, she's a duchess, but she had a hard time at first. And I was like, I want to see what that looked like and how Harry protected her, and
Okay, so now I'm have to make sure because I told you at first, I told you I was going to read that book, but I started with this one first. So now I'm gonna have to go and finish the legacy just for
oh
that.
yeah, the legacy is yes, the legacy is really
So there's a little cross. So there's a little crossover then from the
there is.
other.
I do. You will see Easter egg. You'll see. There's the guy in the second book in this, still the one. You'll see him in my stand below. He's a talent agent. So he and everybody. I write people who are like singers and artists,
Okay.
and whatever. So he's their agent. So you'll see him and the second sister, his wife, in lots of book. And
Okay.
the friend. I cross worlds a lot. So.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that when I read series and things, and I see people from other series that I've
Me
read.
too. I love it so much. As a reader, I love. We call them Easter eggs. I love them.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Now, for those who are they haven't read the book yet, but are looking to read the book, can you tell them a little bit about who Harry and Lily are as characters, what they're all about?
Okay, so Lily is a 30-something, early 30s woman she's a private, like sort of a private investigator, but a digital one. She
I
kind of
love that, by
helps
the
people
way.
find dirt on people, and she lives in Miami. She suffered a trauma years ago and hasn't been back home. She loves her family very, very much, but she feels like they let her down. And so she's never told them, but she's never given them the chance to be there for her because they don't know what happened to her.
Right,
And she goes to Ghana looking for because she's decided she wants her life back. She's tired of being away from her family and not enjoying her, and she's tired of being sad. So she goes to Ghana, where her mother's from, and she wants just to kind of be by herself and clear her head and connect with herself. And Harry is the oldest son of the Duke of Carlisle. He is about to inherit his father's title because his father's sick, and he's trying to figure out how to, grow and maintain the business his father has grown, his parents have grown, and really be worthy of the title he's about to inherit. And he's also um, getting over a very sad,
right.
romantic situation. So
Okay.
he's there on business. He's there to, and they meet on the plane, and then goes
Yes,
downhill from there.
yes, yes. It was, it
So,
was, it was a,
but they're both he's a very strong, um, honest, very responsible because he's the oldest. He's been raised to be responsible and do the right thing. He's very principled. She's just in a lot of pain in the beginning of the
right.
book, but she's also very strong. She's taking steps to help herself, and she's been through some things, but she's funny. She's smart. She's brave.
Hmm.
She's and before everything happened, she lived very out loud. She
Right.
was very, she loved sex and she wasn't ashamed of that. She was very, very free and kind of the heartbeat of her family. And then, so yeah, so that's who they are, and they meet and sparks fly.
And I love that he was able to see past the veneer that she
Well,
had.
he was watching her. He was
Yeah,
watching. He was
yeah,
watching.
he was able to see the who
Yeah,
she really was and bring it
yeah,
out of her.
yeah. He
And
was intrigued by her, I think so.
most definitely, and he didn't let her hide. So I like
No,
that
or
too.
lie, not to
Right,
him anyway.
right.
Well, he did. Well, in the ways you could help it. Here in the resolution line. Oh my God. Oh Lord.
I wanted to ask you too about the malaria pills. Is that something that you have to take before you go to Ghana?
Let's take them while you're there too. You have to take
Okay.
them. It's I don't take mine. I hate them. And also I've had malaria before. And once you have malaria, you have malaria. You know, and I had it when I was a very young child. And it never leaves your system. I can never donate blood. So I not that I want to get it again, but also I already have it, you know. So
Okay.
I sleep when I'm in Ghana. I sleep under mosquito nets. I wear repellent that really works, and I very rarely get them, and mosquitoes are everywhere. But yeah, no, you do have, yes, that is a thing, and if
Okay.
you do get malaria, it can make you very sick. So
Okay. And I wanted to ask too, because I haven't never been to Africa, but want to go. Do you still have to get the shots that you used to have to get?
Their only shot I know you used to have to get was yellow fever, and I don't know if you still have to get it. I don't know. My children have never had it, and they go to Ghana, you know, regularly. They've never had. But I think it's a one-time shot though.
Oh, okay.
Yellow fever, or 10 years or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe that's why they.
So it's not like you have to get it every time you.
No, and then no.
In some Facebook users are saying family dynamics can be very challenging. Definitely.
Yeah, they can be, and I love them. I love because my family, you know, marriages and relationships, you know, who you date it's very, your family will have an opinion, and they have to be someone who will fit in your family, because we don't. And my husband is from Ghana as well, so it's even more true for me that you really marry your family. You marry the entire family becomes one. Okay. And so you have to who you marry really matters, and it can influence you. You know, a lot of people we have different ethnic groups in Ghana, different, you know, and so we don't intermarry. There's lots of things, and so and there is our marriage ceremony. The first part of it, it's called the knocking, and the man's family, you know, if the man's family goes to the woman's family, and they very early in the morning, his women representatives, his aunts, not his mother, his aunts, maybe if he had sisters old enough, they go to the house of the girl, and they knock at the gate, and they ask to be let in. They say that they want to come and let the family know that their son wants to marry their daughter, right? And the family has to say yes. And the way it usually plays out is that they have to knock a few times. The woman's family usually says no right away, like, we're not giving you our precious daughter, get out of here. And then they say, oh, but we brought you drinks, and we brought you, you know, cloth, and and then they let them in, and then and then they let them in, and then and then you come with a family representative, you know, and everybody come, and not your parents. Your parents are there, but really there's someone. They call them an ochami, and you know, each family has one, and they come and they sort of battle. Everybody tells their family history and tries to one up, and I'm not there. The groom and the bride are not there until the families have agreed. The groom's family brings money, because by then the girl's family will give you a list, and you have to come with everything. You present the gifts, and then they have to give money to your siblings and your cousin. You know, so there's the family is, so it's very intermarrying. It's like, so yeah, it influences. So I love exploring that, and I know it's not like that for every family, but I like writing families where the parents have an opinion about who their children are. You know? Yeah.
And I think that's in a lot of different cultures too.
Yeah. Oh yes, I know. But also, I mean, not in Ghana, not everybody cares. Some people's parents don't care what they do because they're not around. But you know, like if you are, yes. So I like that. I like that
too, and I love the different traditions that from different cultures and all of that. So I love reading about that. Now, a heartfelt, touching moment for me in the book was the scene between Lily and her father at the wedding reception when they were dancing on the dance floor. Mm-hmm. That was so well done, and it was just heartbreaking.
I know. It was.
Was it difficult to write? What was one for you that was the most, heartfelt?
That was one of them. I mean, I think her talking to Harry after that was them in the elevator.
Yes.
Really for me was a turning point, and it was. It's I think it's the moment where we really got to know them both, or really understand. It was wonderful. I love that first kiss of theirs is like my favorite first kiss of all time.
I agree.
I love it so much.
I agree, and I love elevator scenes, even in movies.
I love it too.
Yes,
so handy.
Now, one of my favorites was in, even though this turned out terrible, Fatal Attraction.
This doesn't. No, this ends well.
Right.
Eventually, I mean, it does. It takes them a minute. It is very.
Yeah, it takes them a minute, but I love their journey, and I love reading about their journey. Now we're getting close to the close.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The show. I wanted to ask. Now, if you could write in any other genre, what genre would you try your hand at?
I think thriller, like murder mysteries or fantasy.
Oh, I love all of that.
Fantasy with a murder.
I love it.
That would be wonderful.
I love it, and I read a lot of fantasy.
I love.
Yeah, and a lot of mysteries and thrillers too.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, so I would be there for it when you if you ever do it.
Well, out in the universe, I'll do it.
Right. And something I always ask is, what keeps you motivated in your writing and in your life?
In my writing, it is that I feel like I'm very privileged to have been able to be doing what I'm doing. A lot of people want to, and I've managed, so I don't quit, because I know that if I quit, the only way I can fail is that I quit. I feel like I owe it to this opportunity to give it my all in my life. I'm motivated by my, having a happy home, a harmonious home, and having a calm life myself. So that's my motivation. I'm motivated by, I want to be a positive contributor in the world. I want to be, someone who makes people feel good, because the world doesn't have enough of that, and I get so much. I've been so blessed in my life that I love sharing the love I've received. So that's my motivation, is to be a light in the world as much as I can, to raise my children lovingly, to love my husband as much as he loves me, and my family. I'm very close to my sisters and my parents. Family is very important to me. So yeah.
Me too. Love that. Do you have anything coming up that you can share?
I do. I have a release this week. I wish I had a copy. I have the first book in a trilogy called the Temptation Trilogy. It's called Captivate. It's coming out on the 19th. It is a very angsty, small town, second chance, forbidden romance about a young woman who is a small town princess, and this man who comes to town for the summer. He's a prodigy pianist who's on the verge of becoming a really big star, and they fall in love, and her dad doesn't want, her dad is like the power in the town and has plans for her, and he has but it's wonderful. It's a very, I love it so much. The Temptation Trilogy. So starting this week, and then I have my first new Rivers Wild book is coming out in January. It's called The Wild Card. It's set in the Seychelles, which is a country in West Africa, and in East Africa. It's islands off the coast of East Africa, and this is my first really Afropolitan cast, so I'm very excited.
Okay, I definitely will check both out. January. I can't wait.
Yes, me too. I can't wait. Thank you for reading the book, Cheryl. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to read it.
If anyone asks questions I didn't answer in the comments, or they do, I'll come back and answer. I'll check it and see.
Thank you. I appreciate
that. Thank you all for spending time.
Yes, and thank you all in the audience for coming out and joining us. And please share the broadcast so others can see it as well. And thank you again, Dylan, for coming on the show. I appreciate it. It was good meeting you, and I love the book.
Cheryl, thank you, Lashira, again.
And Melissa is putting the information has put the information in the chat. So thank you.
Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. I love you. Thank you so much. You're such a
Thank you, everyone. And I enjoyed the interview. And Lisa saying that she enjoyed the interview as well.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me talk. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right. And enjoy the rest of your day and get some rest. I know you just came back.
Yeah, no, I'm about to go get my son from school, and then I don't know. Actually, no, tonight is, I went to Howard Law School, and we have, our like homecoming weekend is this weekend.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
We're having a night at the chapel at the law school. So I'm driving down to DC at around 5 to go and be with my fellow Howard Law School alumni. And
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. So yeah.
All right. Well, safe travels and enjoy and have a great time.
Okay. Bye.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Be in touch.
Bye. Yes. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.